We're away on stage 4 of the walk, coastal walk from Seahouses to Belford. Had a bit of a disaster this morning. Turned the GoPro on. It says it doesn't recognise the SD card. Nipped into Asda, bought a brand new SD card. Still doesn't recognise it. So this is on my phone. I don't know how good it will be, and I don't know if I'll run out of memory. But we'll start off like this anyway and see how we go. Got Luke and Michael with us today, and we're just leaving Seahouses, heading up towards Bamburgh. So we'll probably cut down onto the beach in a second. So I think this is the first leg we've done where we haven't been blessed with blue skies, which is a shame, but we've got the Farne Islands out in the distance over there. Of course, everything's going to look in portrait instead of landscape as well, but it is what it is. And we're just going to drop down onto Seahouses beach with Bamburgh Castle in the distance. And if we look back to where we've come from, Seahouses harbour. Fingers crossed it just brightens up as the day goes on. The beach is relatively busy, considering it's a bit miserable. Probably just about halfway along now between Seahouses and Bamburgh. I'm just seen a seal bob up out here, but it's disappeared again. And it's noticeably greyer, but it's better than being in the house, and thankfully it's pretty much stayed dry. So a few dog walkers, but still pretty quiet. Don't know where the seal's gone. Michael looks like he's laying an egg again. That seems to be his standard pose for wherever we go. We've been quite lucky with the tide. It's on its way in, but we're still walking on the firm sand. So fingers crossed we can get to the end of this beach to near sort of Bamburgh golf course before we've got to cut in and get off the sand. I just hate walking on soft sand, but again, the true path is actually through the dunes, and from where we are on the beach you can regularly see signposts, so it's well marked. That's the path that you want to do. But we were following a seal along the beach. I can't see where he's gone now, but it's quite a nice morning there. Hopefully it's going to blow over and we'll get a bit of texture and colour into the sky. It's not particularly photographic at the minute. So we've been walking along Seahouses beach for quite a while now, and you don't see Bamburgh Castle. I just assume you would see all the way along the beach, but the curvature of the beach and height of the sand dunes, you don't see it. But yeah, no, we can nearly get it in its full splendour now. So I'll bring you back a bit further up because there's loads of people walking now. Look at this, it's like bloody Benidorm. So that's Bamburgh Castle. If you see just about here, you'll not pick it up from this distance, but they've got an apartment just inside the main gatehouse, just before the beast from the east happened a few years back. We put new heating into it, and I was stood there on the car park, and a chap comes along, introduced himself, William Armstrong, dead pleasant, had a bit of a chat with him, walked up onto the main lawn while we were waiting for one of the caretaker fellas to bring the keys down, and we were just stood there underneath where the main keep is, where the flag is, like this bit. And I said, Armstrong, you in the family then? He said, oh yeah, this is my dad's place. I was like, wow, canny bird. But thoroughly nice bloke. So the current owner was adopted, so he lost his lord status because of that. But what a lovely fella. Right, I'm not videoing Luke, I'm videoing the bench on the top there. So it's just up on the top of the dunes, right next to Bamburgh Castle, and it was voted Warburton's 2013 best place to have your lunch. I'll put a couple of photographs in from when the sky was better. So just down there is Stag Rock, can't remember the story behind it, but Andy Wardle did a video just after lockdown about Bamburgh and the surrounding area, because that's where he's from. He got a good, I think his granddad used to paint it or something, part of the annual maintenance team. Stag Rock Lighthouse, looks like it's shocked, doesn't it? You might recognise this lighthouse because it's a favourite spot with photographers to get the northern lights in the background behind it. So anybody that's looking at Northumberland Northern Lights type photos, it's nearly always on there. Just looking back down to where we've come from, on Bamburgh Beach. And now we've got a bit of proper rain. Linda's Farm's away in the distance. If you watched my video last week of me swimming in Menorca, my hands up like a pudding, so the little cut there. A sea urchin jabbed us, it's got infected and now on antibiotics. So it's a lesson to myself there not to play with the urchins or smash them up for fish food. So we've just coming across Bamburgh Castle Golf Course. Cracking little hidden beach down here. I've swapped the camera around as well. I'm just hoping the first section didn't look stupid and the second section will actually be in the right orientation. But shame the sun doesn't come out, or isn't coming out, because if the sun was out, that water would look absolutely beautiful. So we're just still coming along the edge of the golf course. Path's changed to sand now. So the sea's only just the other side of the dunes. And we're approaching Bewdle Bay, which when the tide's in, it is a big expanse of water. I think you've got to be quite careful here if you're swimming and stuff, because as the tide starts to go out, you do have a big rush of water going out and it'll take everything with it. So you do occasionally get kite surfers and the like getting caught out, but it's good for kite surfers because it stays relatively flat and you get the wind but you kind of get the shelter of the sea because it is a bay. So if you get a better view as we get a bit closer, and a little bit of blue sky starting to come in. We've just stopped at Bewdle Bay. There's an old wartime, I think it's a good emplacement judging by the mounting points on the wall there. But you probably could do a hammock camping here. There's some girders in the ceiling with some holes in. And then there's holes in the wall, which I don't know whether they were maybe for storing shells or can't say you would have needed ventilation, but we shall see.
Hi, we're just three walkers on a public footpath that crosses the main line at Belford Burn. Just as a sign says, just phone us to make sure it's clear across. Yeah. Less than a minute. We'll just walk straight across. Right, cheers, thanks. Right. Yeah. It's clear.
So we just crossed the main East Coast main line there, and never done a level crossing like that before on a proper big track. But yeah, to ring ahead, ask for permission just to be on the safe side. Now we're going into some more killer sheep with horns.
Look for crossing. Now they've actually got.
So we're just going to go over the crest of the hill now, and Belford is in the distance. I've got to say, this leg hasn't been, well, the bit since Bewdle where you come away from the coast, I haven't really enjoyed it that much. I fell over once. The paths haven't been brilliant underfoot. We have had a lot of rain this week, so it's been quite slippy and quite muddy. The views are all right. You know, there's a nice bit of countryside about. We've come through some nice little woodland areas, and we saw little field mouse skipping along somebody's front drive. And the next leg is only 6 miles after this one. It's from Belford to Fenwick. So, and then you're back on the coast again. I think you do a little stretch out of Fenwick, and then you're way up to Berwick. So, I mean, I'd rather be out here than sat in the house. But I just, compared to the other legs, it's a 7 out of 10. And the weather's not been quite so nice today. Now we've got to encounter some of the deadly sheep of Northumberland. Northumberland wild goats. Yeah. We're now just walking through quite a nice little woodland walk next to some whacking great big silos and grain dryers that are just blowing. Smells like you got your head in a box of Weetabix. But we're not far now. Nearly at the A1. Once we're at the A1, we're at Belford. Well, we're just wrapping up back at Seahouses. Made a right cock up. The winter timetable is different to the summer timetable on the buses. So ended up having to get a taxi back, but we're all done. And look forward to catching them on the next one.